Dr. Ben Carson continues to gain traction. He does have an economic policy, he's got a foreign policy, and how his White House would heal race relations. I just spoke to him moments ago, and here's what he had to say. Dr. Ben Carson, thanks so much for joining me. Now, we've heard a lot about your tax policy during the debate, and again this morning I saw you with Stuart Varney, but what else does this economy need besides a 10% sort of flat tax, if you will? What's going to get this economy moving?
Well, it's very stagnant, as you know, and it's been going on for a little while. You know, our economy grew at a rate of 3.3% from 1850 until 2000. From 2001 to 2014, a rate of 1.8%. We've had some negative numbers lately, and that has long-term implications. I think there are a few things that need to be done. First of all, our corporate tax rate is way too high, and that's the reason that there's over $2 trillion of American money overseas. I would advocate a tax holiday to allow that money to be repatriated. 10% of it has to be used for job creation for people who are on welfare and unemployed. That would be a huge stimulus, wouldn't cost the taxpayers one penny. I think the other thing we have to do is some regulatory reform. We don't need to get rid of all regulations. As our founder said, if men were angels, you know, no government or regulation would be needed.
So you're not talking unfettered capitalism, but you are talking about letting American-style capitalism blossom the way it did for so many years.
Exactly, and recognize that every single regulation costs money, but it raises the price of goods and services, which disproportionately hits poor people. They all pay the same thing.
Right.
And then the tax system needs to be revamped. You know, 74 to 80,000 pages. That makes absolutely no sense. We need to create an atmosphere that encourages entrepreneurial risk-taking and capital investment. Those are the fuels that drive our economic engine.
You know, it's interesting because this is the exact opposite of what Hillary Clinton is talking about, of course. And for me, it's about the progressives in particular building and maintaining what I call a welfare utopia, a record amount of people on food stamps, a lot more people on welfare. You can't get it anymore taxing the rich. It's folly. They know they've got to go after these corporations, but the idea is let the corporations create these jobs, let them bring back this money. I think you're right. Listen, we did it. We did that once before. I thought it worked out pretty well, but you know, I think that's going to be really where I think that's where the election is going. I know there's a lot of social issues, but I think ultimately people are going to look at their economic conditions. Their incomes have gone down, opportunities have gone down, entrepreneurship has gone down. Do you think this sort of Morning in America, Reagan-esque message, along with your economic plan, could be the 1-2 punch?
I really do, and I've had a chance to discuss the issues with a lot of people who are not well-to-do. In fact, the majority of my contributions come from average Americans, a lot of people who are on fixed incomes. And, you know, in the last 10 days, we've raised $2 million. These are from 17,000 people. They're normal people. I don't go after the big money. I don't care about the big money unless they care about America.
How is it, too? Because I saw immediately after the debates, you had the most social media reaction. You had 24,000 new followers on Twitter, 400,000, I think, on Facebook. It felt like, despite the fact that some people say you didn't get enough time to talk, or that maybe, you know, there was a lot of other things that hogged up the headlines before and after, that you somehow broke through, that your message began to resonate with the American people. Do you think that happened?
It most definitely happened. And, you know, our people are a lot smarter than people give them credit for. And they are able to ferret out politicians versus someone who is like them. And I'm not going to be a politician. I have no desire to be a politician. I desire to be one of the people and to actually solve problems. And if you go back and you look at my life, that's what I've done. Along with getting good help from a lot of other people, we've solved very complex problems. That's what we need right now.
I've followed your life. You know, I followed you long before you were becoming a political superstar. I read about you in Ebony magazine in 1988, okay? So I was always a fan. But this is a whole new arena.